Hi Gemini, welcome to your Venus retrograde reading. Venus is in retrograde from October 5th until November 16th. Everything you need to know about the reading is below in the description box. It is for Gemini. Ooh, listening to your intuition. Going within kind of has a hermit feel to it. Could be Pisces. Also, maybe a Pisces is on your mind, Gemini. Right, Justice reversed, King of Wands reversed, Page of Wands upright, the Sun reversed, and the Hermit upright. Yep, there it is. And I just flipped that over. Felt like Hermit. All right, I'm going to clarify where it makes sense to do so, but if I don't need clarification, I'm just going to leave it. This is a riff, or taken from We've Broken Up, Now What? I'm calling it We're Talking Again, Now What? Because Venus, retrograde, Libra, relationships, that sort of thing. So I figured it was timely. Okay, so the reason why you're meeting up again with your ex, Gemini, is... Part of me wants to say you're overthinking it, but which wouldn't be a stretch, right? Because air signs were very cerebral. Could be Libra. I'm going to hold off on that one. Yeah, I don't think that they have good intentions. I don't think they're bad. I just don't think they care. I think they just are. Maybe they're meeting up with you under the guise of talking about what happened. Maybe to say they're sorry, but it doesn't. That might be what they use to get in the door. But I think you're going to see that their offer it's disingenuous. Maybe they approach you because they feel like you did them wrong and they think that you're kind of acting like a jerk, that you have all these high expectations and you're kind of cold and expectant and you don't give what you get. Or they come to apologize to you saying, look, I know I was a jerk. I know I was this way. Please forgive me. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Either way, I feel like they plan to kind of see if there's any new interest. Like, well, so what do you think about what I said? Or I feel like they might be beating around the bush a little bit just to check your pulse to see where you're at with it. And this is a no. This is yes. This is no. This is telling you no, Gemini. Just no. And this could be Virgo right here. But this is also going inward to do some soul searching. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 heavies here. So this is pretty significant, this relationship. All right, what's this Justice card of this reverse justice about? Gemini. Reverse justice for Gemini. Yeah, they were cheating and they broke up the home. Or for those Geminis that they weren't cheating, work was an issue. They just had they were maybe workaholic. You know what I mean? They couldn't maybe they had some, because of that, because they're overindulgence, or it's like they spent a lot of time at work and then they would work hard, play hard, that sort of thing. And it might have gotten you into financial trouble. The absence or the distance might have broken up a stable home that you have with them. Okay. And they're coming back to address that. Something got in the way of them being a committed partner to you, whether that's another person or it's their job or just other commitments, the work hard, play hard type thing. And it basically, there was a material loss, or it affected it to the point where you just broke up because of it, because it just wasn't a stable relationship for you. Partner's feelings. Maybe this is them coming back to try and plead their case. Like, you were a jerk, and like they're feeling pretty self-righteous here. This is probably them feeling kind of righteous. Like, well, you owe me an apology. I can't get a lock on who's apologizing to who or who initiated here. But I do feel like it's whoever's. I feel like it's disingenuous. I don't want to fight anymore. Can we just have sex? So, I'm really sorry about this, and, I know that I was kind of a jerk and this and that, but I don't want to fight anymore. I just want bygones to be bygones, and can I take you out to dinner? Just saying, Gemini. And that's what this is right here. Page of Wands, And it wants kind of showing up, kind of take your pulse, kind of see what the interest is. And this is saying no, no. And the fact that this is significant, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 heavies here, tells me that this was quite, and we're bookended by going inward, listening to our inner voice and doing some soul searching. This tells me that this was quite a significant relationship for you. So do not go there again and dabble, because this is nothing more than them wanting to get back into the bedroom with you. That's yeah. Okay. We're done here. I'm done clarifying. All right. First 2 weeks for Gemini. First 2 weeks of the Venus retrograde for Gemini. October 5th through the 2nd-ish. So these two really want to come out, so we're going to do that. I think, okay, given the nature of the solitary, private, going within, slowing down, calm energy, I feel like this is about you feeling like you had to sneak away, to walk away. You had to do something stealthy and sneaky and be strategic about your exit to walk away. Okay? Because there was no reasoning with this person. They weren't going to... Them showing up under the guise of, let's talk about what went wrong, or I'm sorry, only to try and get you back in the sack. Come on. There's no integrity in that. Why don't you start without me? Why don't you start without me? All right, so then let's look at the next 2 weeks. So that would be October 19th-ish to November 2nd-ish. Give or take a day. Come on. Okay, all right. So we have lots of choices and options, which, you know, I feel like this is them talking to you about, well, we could do this, we could do that, we could, can you see this here? I'm trying to get everything in here. I know I had to use the big ones for right here, but it's because I was going to do the little guys on the bottom. Okay, so the middle shows a lot of choices, a lot of options, and they're wanting to be that secure, calm, emotionally generous person for you. Okay, this is the middle of the month. And then we have, you know what, I'm going to put it over here because I didn't pull that yet. So, but then it ends up being one-sided, and I think they're feeling like they have to work for it. Honestly, because I don't feel like you're receptive to this at all, Gemini. I feel like it does a number on you emotionally, like them, you know, coming back, well, I'm sorry, but you this and that, and then under the guise of, can we fool around again? But it does do a number on you. And I feel like that's what this is. It's like they trying to give you all these choices and options and show you how emotionally available they are. And for you cross watchers here, I mean no disrespect, but come on, look at this. Come on. Anyway, so they're trying to be this emotionally secure, generous person, calm and compassionate, and yet it is still one-sided. The right thing is not being done. This right here is echoing the Justice reverse card. This is about not doing the right thing, and this is about working. I think it's going to be a lot of... I think they have an ulterior motive, and I think they're trying to put in a lot of work. They're going to be working for your affection, working for your attention, working for your time, because they have an agenda. This person is not a person of integrity. They are not on the up and up. They want what they want when they want it, how they want it, right now. I want all the things, and it's just they're not honorable. Nope. Okay, last 2 weeks. So like we're November 3rd-ish to November 16th-ish. Give or take a day. Yep. So you go inward, you listen to that higher voice. This is all about you doing that. This is overarching energy. But at the end, we've got you soul searching and finding that inner voice and listening to it and following your gut, much like this right here. And because of that, because even though this person's smooth talker, you feel like you have to steal time or be stealthy to walk away. This is very painful for you at one point. This was very like, I give up. This person is not reasonable. I got nothing. I'm walking away. They come back wanting to do the sweet talky thing, showing you how emotionally kind and generous they are, giving you all these options, but all the while they have a secret agenda, or they've got other plans, shall we say, and they're putting in a lot of work, maybe feeling like, hey, you know, this and that, but there's some discovery that happens. You find a few things out, and you're like, okay, we're done here. And this is me going solo, planning for my own future, doing my own things. I am very clear about this decision now. I plan to be very forthright with you, and under no uncertain terms will you misunderstand me in the future. This is not an option. So this is you, Gemini, Queen of Swords, air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. That's you right there being like, okay, I might have been unclear or nice before. I might have been introspective. I might have been a lot just quieter and more receptive because I was still thinking about things, but I'm not now. I know exactly what I mean to say. I'm not mincing words here. Do yourself a favor and do not misunderstand me when I say this is not happening. So this is a very clear-cut, decisive action on your part after this shenanigans towards the last 2 weeks of Venus retrograde. You're pretty clear on what you want for yourself in the future. And I think this mess right here is a deciding factor in that you have rerouted, you've discovered, found out a few things, and that has shaped your view, and you are no longer even considering anything. It is all about a decisive step forward just by yourself and what you want solely. This was much more receptive and pensive and kind of like open, and I mean, you were shut down in the sense, not shut down, but you were going inward. So it's not like you were out there talking to all your friends and trying this. This is a very pensive, quiet time, right? This is not. This is, we've gone through this. Now I know what I want. Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. I make a mistake and do that right by the microphone, and sure it's just a really lovely earful. All right, some of them are still stuck. Love, self-love. I also think at one point you did love this person. This was pretty significant. And I'm honestly, all this introspection, and then for you to come out, not swinging, but just come out decisively like this, there's been some, you've seen some ish. You've kind of gone through it in this relationship. So the revisiting of this and going, hey, it's almost like it's nothing for them. But you're like, do you understand how meaningful this was? Do you understand? I loved you. Like, this was huge for me. I loved you. And now it gets to be transmuted to that self-love, where it's not like, oh, I'll never love again, but I'm not going to, I don't need to put myself in the same position or the same dynamics that this relationship fostered in. But I also know where culpability was and what wasn't. Pretty clear on that, so that future prospects for love are not tainted by emotional memories of this stuff. It's almost like it's purifying, because this is love in its purest form. And after going through all this, especially plumbing the depths like you're going to be doing, Gemini, kind of gives you a clean slate, you know? Ooh, this one's upside down. No. Barriers. Yeah. I think this would speak to breaking through them and not letting them hold you back. But I also think maybe we need to erect some. I feel like this person is pretty persistent. They're not going to take no for an answer. They're also very charming and probably very sexy and a sweet talker. And, you know, this could be man or woman, but they're probably used to getting their way and what they want. They're probably not going to take no for an answer. So you might need to erect some. You're going to be breaking through some of your own by making this decisive turn for yourself and coming clean, or, you know, just becoming clear about everything. So a lot of the barriers that might have been there before, like feeling trapped and, oh gosh, and just, you know, you love this person, but that's not an issue anymore. However, oopsie, wrong one. I think boundaries or barriers for this person are also a necessity. You won't have any. This cleared away a lot of the gunk, but I think barriers for that person. You know what they were saying? Okay, I digress, but certain people don't have the emotional or the physiological response in the brain that other people do to either passion, excitement, worry, fear, anxiety. Some people are like flatline. They don't feel it at all. So it kind of feels like this, some similar. I'm not saying this person is, but this kind of feels like somebody that either wasn't into the relationship as much as you were, or they're just one of those people that certain things just aren't ever a big deal. Like they're never going to penetrate or be that worth it to them above their own self-preservation and what they want. So coming back and making these gestures and taking your pulse is strictly because of what they want to do. They're not really considering your feelings. Where's that 8 of... Look, they're not considering this, how hard it was for you. That does not resonate with them. It doesn't register. So you're very wise to just in realizing that, it was probably a painful realization, but you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Thanks. Got it. All right. This is about secrecy and confidentiality. This is self-discovery, seeking greater truths, which is what this is all about right here. And where is it? Okay. This is all about getting to know yourself and your motivation and just really figuring out what makes you tick and what's your currency, so to speak. This is also about trust and being able to trust another person. And I think you can only really consider somebody else's motivations when you know what your own are. So anyway, point being, this is very apropos for this because this one's coming in like Mr. Charmer, Mrs. Charmer, you know, saying all the right things, pushing all the buttons, and getting me kind of spun, and it's because this, okay, and this injustice right here. This is somebody that's not really the severity of what has transpired or what's taken place in this relationship is kind of lost on them. It's just not that big of a deal to them. And you're very right to question, okay, I've done my own self-examination and culpability here, but can this person be trusted? And if so, this card is suggesting make them earn it, okay? So I don't think you are. This is a solo project for you after the end of the month. You get the gunk cleared out and you start off solo. Awesome. But this was saying, this is just echoing that look, this person's got an ulterior motive and you really need to question, can you trust them or can you trust yourself with them? So it's a good thing you're not. Okay, Gemini, that's what I have for you. I hope this was helpful. That's your Venus retrograde reading, and I hope to see you in the next series of readings. Thank you very much for stopping by, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.